Hi guys, welcome to ANIMEized. This is the English translated version of the novel Throne of Seal. The novel differs slightly from the Chinese animation or donghua. If you want more of these videos, please smash the like button, subscribe, and turn on the notifications. Enjoy and have a blessed day.
Long HaoChen's sun's halo on his body disappeared under the erosion of this purple-red liquid, and Long HaoChen was instantly in danger without the protection of the sun's halo, forcing him to use the divine obstruction sword in place to barely fend off the surrounding zombies. And when the second of these purple-red zombies flew over, Yating couldn't dodge in time, and was splashed with the purple-red liquid. Immediately let out a miserable scream. Light fog surged all over the body. But the breath clearly began to weaken. Surprisingly, it suffered a not-so-light injury. This is a toxic explosion zombie, Long HaoChen finally realized, after Yating called out this name. She gritted her teeth and retreated, quickly dispelling the poison on her body. The purple-red poison was extremely aggressive, even corroding the rocks on the ground, leaving small depressions, and it came with an extremely unpleasant odor. Even more frightening was that it could corrode spiritual power. Long HaoChen's Radiance Ripple's holy light shield couldn't withstand its corrosion at all. After the appearance of two toxic explosion zombies, Long HaoChen and Yating's situation had become extremely perilous. However, at this moment, Long HaoChen's own combat strength was fully revealed. His left hand, the high-level brilliant holy shield, defended, and his right hand, light punishment, would definitely kill a zombie with each strike. Rich light elements continuously erupted from his body, as if his spiritual power was inexhaustible. In front of him were 4 silver zombies. These silver zombies had exceptionally tough silver bodies. Even though light punishment was effective against them, it could only leave a mark on their bodies. Moreover, these high-level zombies were very cunning. As soon as Long HaoChen used powerful skills like Holy Sword, these silver zombies would immediately pull a backup zombie from behind to block on their behalf, while they quickly retreated. Fortunately, there weren't many gold and silver zombies, and up until now, there were only 4 of each. Even so, Long HaoChen was starting to struggle. Without HaoYue, and without the zombie king directing the zombies' attacks from a distance, Long HaoChen would have had confidence in killing these 8 powerful zombies. But where would so many ifs come from? Skills like charge, dash, and gathering power were impossible for Long HaoChen to use at the moment. He mostly relied on divine guard block and continuous blocking, followed by shield bash, light sword, and other low-cost, practical skills. But even so, his spiritual power was continuously depleting. Long HaoChen even vaguely saw the zombie king was quietly approaching the battlefield, obviously looking for an opportunity to deliver a fatal blow to him. He snorted coldly. Light punishment in Long HaoChen's right hand once again transformed into the formidable twin dragons of light rain. Whenever he unleashed attacks similar to this, the silver zombies were very adept at it. Each of them would pull 2 ordinary zombies to block Long HaoChen's attacks, making it difficult for the effect of holy fire to land on these silver zombies. Even if the power of holy fire touched their bodies, the gold zombies behind them would immediately use other zombies' bodies to extinguish the flames. Their cooperation was surprisingly well coordinated. Therefore, while Long HaoChen had killed quite a few zombies, the pressure he was under was increasing. Dark light would often appear suddenly in front of Long HaoChen. That was the death magic of the gold zombies. Gold zombies didn't have many types of magic, but their attacks were quite formidable, to the point that Long HaoChen could only use his left-hand brilliant holy shield to continuously cast shield arts to barely defend against them. HaoYue, how much longer until you complete your evolution? Long HaoChen sighed inwardly, but his gaze became even more determined. He could only focus on defense, unable to unleash his full potential, but he couldn't abandon the entrance. What should he do? What should he do now? Just at that moment, Yating finally neutralized the poison from the toxic explosion zombie, and joined the battle once more, and this time, as soon as she joined, she immediately unleashed a powerful magic. The same one she used to deal with the Skeleton Legion, the Starfall. Terrifying starlight bloomed in the sky, and when it crashed down, even the formidable bodies of the zombies couldn't withstand the power of the Starfall. Even the zombie king, who had been preparing to sneak attack, could only defend passively against the Starfall, temporarily dispelling the idea of attacking Long HaoChen. However, those gold and silver zombies, and even the copper and iron zombies, all had a very consistent way of blocking such a powerful magic, which was to use the bodies of their companions. After the terrifying starfall descended, at least more than 200 zombies perished, but the true core of the zombie force was still intact, and Long HaoChen even saw 3 sluggish, purple-red toxic explosion zombies crawling up the hillside. They couldn't continue like this. If these 3 toxic explosion zombies were allowed to unleash their power, he and Yating might not be able to withstand it. Thinking this, Long HaoChen finally took action. A rich golden light suddenly burst forth from his chest, followed by 3 golden beams shooting out from his chest. The zombies were accustomed to Long HaoChen's strength, and they hurriedly avoided, fearing some powerful magic. 3 figures appeared in the golden light, quickly blocking Long HaoChen. These three who were teleported here were none other than Wang Yuan, Lin Xin, and HaoYue. "Boss, what's going on?" Lin Xin couldn't help but ask as soon as he appeared. Long HaoChen said in a deep voice. "First, let's face the enemy with all our might." As he spoke, he had already taken a step forward and charged towards the zombie horde. His companions had just been summoned here, and they needed to adapt to the surroundings, but with them guarding the entrance of the cave, he could finally break free and fight. After being suppressed for so long, Long HaoChen charged out like a released tiger, erupting like a volcano. Light punishment, under his full attention to spiritual power, directly emitted a radiant sword aura, thanks to its built-in skills. Long HaoChen's toes tapped on the ground, and his forewings suddenly spread before quickly folding behind him. He shot forward like an arrow. His movements were incredibly fast, aided by the propulsion of his forewings, and his speed almost reached its limit. He darted through the gap between two silver zombies, and then saw two dazzling light clusters radiate behind those silver zombies. It was the Saint Sword's Daylight Slash. The silver zombies, apart from the Zombie King, had the strongest defense among the zombies present, but even with the combined attack of two skills, Long HaoChen couldn't cut through them. But even so, he left terrifying wounds on their backs. What's even more terrifying is that a strong burst of holy fire erupted inside them like a volcanic eruption. Even the Zombie King feared Long HaoChen's holy fire, and when it was hit at such close range by him, the two silver zombies screamed in pain, and green smoke billowed from their bodies, stumbling backward. Their combat capabilities were greatly reduced. And this was just the beginning. Long HaoChen's two swords swung at an incredible speed, but his body, under the impact of the forewings flapping, remained agile, and in a flash, he was behind the three toxic explosion zombies. He even passed by them at a distance of 3 meters. Suddenly, light punishment made several consecutive strikes in the void, and three seemingly tiny white lights silently attached to the three toxic explosion zombies. Immediately after, a violent explosion erupted, and the bodies of the three toxic explosion zombies burst and shattered, releasing a large amount of dark purple-black liquid. However, the liquid they spewed could only fall on the surrounding zombies. Poisonous fluid doesn't discriminate between friend and foe. And instantly, many zombies fell in the rising black and purple poison mist. Among them were even 2 iron zombies. Long HaoChen's ability to achieve his goals so smoothly was closely related to Yating's starfall. The powerful 7th-ranked magic eliminated most of the elite zombies ahead, and the ordinary zombie horde had yet to catch up. Otherwise, Long HaoChen wouldn't have had the space to perform like this. But at this moment, he obviously didn't intend to stop there, and the Zombie King also made its move. The Zombie King had been waiting for the right moment, and it didn't want to overexert itself after its initial attack. It had many minions to use, so it didn't want to exhaust itself after the first strike. Why not use so many underlings? At this moment, as the situation looked unfavorable, its asymmetrical wings on its back suddenly flapped, and it lunged towards Long HaoChen. A hint of a cold smile appeared on Long HaoChen's face. Even though he couldn't fully control his forewings yet, he could still use some basic techniques. He suddenly spread his forewings, which he had folded earlier, and the increased air resistance abruptly halted his forward momentum. Long HaoChen pushed off the chest of an iron zombie with his toes, sending it flying toward the Zombie King, while his forewings flapped once again, this time in the opposite direction. He rushed back. His body flipped as he rapidly retreated, and the Demon Hunt Sword's radiant circular slash erupted once more. Wherever he went, golden brilliance shone, and the terrifying holy fire, combined with the temporary power of light punishment, was truly unstoppable. Even the gold and silver elite zombies hurriedly retreated. However, many other zombies couldn't dodge in time, and with each charge and retreat, at least more than 20 iron-ranked or higher zombies fell under Long HaoChen's sword. Not counting the 3 toxic explosion zombies. Even though the situation was uncertain, with Long HaoChen leading the charge, after a brief pause, HaoYue, Lin Xin, and Wang Yuan also prepared for battle. HaoYue and Wang Yuan guarded the entrance of the cave, while Lin Xin fell back to Yating's side. Wang Yuan immediately swung her shield of giant god, and with a piercing roar, she sent several approaching zombies flying, and her massive shield returned to her hand with a whirl. Then, Wang Yuan unleashed a breaker cannon. It struck a silver zombie that had been wounded by Long HaoChen earlier. The silver zombie was already heavily injured, and the impact of the breaker cannon was enough to finish it off, sending it flying off the mountainside. HaoYue on this side was not idle either. The light reflection shield was held horizontally in front of him, his spiritual wings spread behind him, providing a stable defense. Any zombies that charged towards him would be stopped by his shield and sent flying back. He was executing the duties of a guardian knight perfectly. Lin Xin looked at the numerous zombies outside, unable to help but mutter, "So many what is going on here?" While he said this, he didn't waste any time, and as he saw Long HaoChen charging back, he cast a firewall spell behind Long HaoChen, blocking the zombies that wanted to pursue. Next, he cast the fire spell that was attached to the fire crystal staff, targeting another silver zombie that had been heavily injured. After the fusion of the two spirit furnaces, Lin Xin's own flames had undergone significant changes. As his flames had originally been crimson, but now they had turned deep blue. Even the fire spell had turned into a deep blue flaming skull. Under the double burning of the light of Saint Fire and Lin Xin's heart flames, it was trapped from both inside and outside, and finally turned into a pile of ashes. Since the formation of the Commander Level Number 21 Demon Hunting Squad, the 7 of them had experienced numerous battles, and their cooperation was incredibly seamless. Even though their cultivation had recently reached the 6th rank and they were still adapting, they exhibited remarkable coordination in this sudden battle. Long HaoChen returned to HaoYue's side, and HaoYue took a step forward, making way for him, becoming the most critical defensive force for the moment, allowing Long HaoChen to catch his breath. At this moment, as they saw their powerful subordinates fall one by one, the zombie king could no longer restrain itself, and it charged forward in a frenzy. However, this time it had learned its lesson, and it didn't charge in unarmed, but instead held an iron zombie in its left hand, and a toxic explosion zombie in its right hand. Lin Xin, destroy the purple-red zombie in its right hand! Long HaoChen shouted loudly, and his 4 wings spread behind him, while a golden light fell upon him from behind. It was Radiant World. Yating's support had arrived, and her abundant light elemental spiritual power rapidly flowed into Long HaoChen's body. It replenished his own consumption. At the same time, a white light shot out from Yating's chest, hitting the zombie king directly in the body. It was the Holy Guiding Spirit Furnace. However, Yating's Holy Guiding Spirit Furnace had a guiding effect that was actually centered on Long HaoChen. In other words, enemies hit by the Holy Guiding Spirit Furnace would still target Long HaoChen. Of course, it would be more accurate to say that the Holy Guiding Spirit Furnace no longer existed, and it should be referred to as Yating's guiding skill. Watch me destroy it! Lin Xin shouted with excitement, and then a strange energy wave radiated from behind Long HaoChen, HaoYue, and Yuan. The 3 of them suddenly felt ripples in the air around them, and an indescribable heat made it seem like their blood was about to boil. Then, a loud phoenix cry suddenly rang out, and a brilliant blue light passed over their heads, heading straight for the charging zombie king. What was that? Long HaoChen, HaoYue, and Yuan were all stunned. It was a blue fire phoenix, with 3 dazzling tail feathers behind it, leaving a series of dazzling flame halos in the air, and it reached the zombie king almost instantly. In the next moment, amid the zombie king's cries of agony, it was actually forcibly stopped, and the toxic explosion zombie in its hand instantly shattered. But the purple-red toxin had yet to spread, and it evaporated into poisonous gas in the intense heat. On the other hand, the iron zombie on the other side actually melted. How terrifyingly high must the temperature be to achieve this? Long HaoChen had personally experienced the toughness of an iron zombie's body. After the zombie king's body was struck by the blue fire phoenix, it immediately turned a deep green color, and thick green mist gushed out from within its body, resisting the invasion of the blue flames. And at that moment, the blue fire phoenix flapped its wings forcefully, and a ring of dense blue flames expanded outward. The numerous common zombies that had just reached the mountaintop were enveloped by this halo. The zombies' advance abruptly halted, and then they watched as one by one, the zombies melted, turned into liquid, and then vaporized into gas, disappearing into thin air. The loud cry of the phoenix resonated throughout the battlefield once again, and the fire phoenix folded its wings. Amid a loud explosion, it actually sent the zombie king flying, and it spiraled in the air, before flying back toward Long HaoChen and the others. Seeing the sorry state of the zombie king, Long HaoChen and the other 2 couldn't help but change their expressions, and Yuan couldn't help but exclaim, "Brother medicinal pills, what did you do?" However, what puzzled them was that the fire phoenix seemed to have lost its heat, and it passed over them like that, and when they turned to look at it, it actually entered Lin Xin's chest and disappeared. Spirit furnace? The 3 of them exclaimed in unison. The only skill that can merge with a human's chest is the spirit furnace. They could never have imagined that something so powerful, even bordering on terrifying, would be Lin Xin's spirit furnace. Without a doubt, that blue phoenix was the result of the fusion of his 2 spirit furnaces. Long HaoChen had no knowledge about spirit furnaces, but there is something known as compatibility when spirit furnaces are fused. The higher the compatibility, the easier the fusion, and the resulting power after fusion is also stronger. The danger of spirit furnace fusion also depends on compatibility. If the powers of the 2 spirit furnaces are equal, and their compatibility is 0, no matter how powerful their owners are, they will never successfully fuse, and will ultimately suffer a backlash. There are only 2 possibilities for successful fusion. One is compatibility, and the other is suppression. The fusion of spirit furnaces for Lin Xin and HaoYue falls under compatibility, while Long HaoChen and Cai Er's spirit furnace fusion is suppression. Long HaoChen had his holy guiding spirit furnace suppressed by the light elemental elf, Yating, and the same is even more evident for Cai Er. However, if we talk about the most successful fusion of spirit furnaces this time, it's Lin Xin for a simple reason: his luck was simply incredible. The compatibility between his Heart Flame Spirit Furnace and the later acquired Fire Phoenix Spirit Furnace was off the charts, resulting in a unique evolutionary effect, which gave birth to his current Spirit Furnace, the Fire Phoenix, or you can also call it the Heart Flame Phoenix. Long HaoChen and the others had witnessed the power of this Spirit Furnace with their own eyes, as its explosive force could even challenge an 8th rank Zombie King head-on, and during its outburst, even an 8th rank powerhouse like the Zombie King couldn't do anything against it, and it had suffered quite a bit. Lin Xin's Fire Phoenix Spirit Furnace had truly surprised his companions, but he wasn't feeling very comfortable himself. The more powerful the Spirit Furnace, the stronger the backlash, and Cai Er's Reincarnation Spirit Furnace was the best example of that. Although Lin Xin's Fire Phoenix Spirit Furnace couldn't compare to the Reincarnation Spirit Furnace, it had subtly entered the ranks of first-tier Spirit Furnaces. It would evolve as Lin Xin's strength grew. After the Fire Phoenix returned, Lin Xin felt like his spiritual power had been completely drained in an instant, and a strong burning sensation made his whole body scorching hot. He hastily sat down cross-legged, concentrating on resisting the burning of the heart flame. This heart flame burned from the inside out, and you can imagine how painful that would be. Furthermore, this burning would last for a full 6 hours. It wouldn't cause too much harm to Lin Xin himself, and it could even enhance his affinity with the fire element, strengthening his body. However, the pain during this process was extremely intense, and enduring it for 6 hours would probably leave him feeling like he had shed his skin. However, Lin Xin's mental state was surprisingly good at the moment, as he had just used the Fire Phoenix Spirit Furnace for the first time. And he was amazed at how powerful it was, even though he was currently experiencing a strong backlash. His inner emotions were filled with excitement. As the saying goes, when people encounter joyous events, their spirits are lifted, and in this state, he felt that the pain wasn't as intense. Thanks to the formidable attack of the Fire Phoenix, it provided Long HaoChen and the others with ample breathing room, and with Yating's assistance, Long HaoChen's spiritual power and physical strength were rapidly recovering. Although the Zombie King was sent flying down the mountainside, Long HaoChen's perception continued to track it, sensing the changes it underwent after the attack. To his surprise, the power released by Lin Xin's Fire Phoenix was indeed extraordinary, as it had completely burned the Zombie King's wings, and it had inflicted severe burns all over its body. The injuries were quite severe. Moreover, the Fire Phoenix wasn't limited to single-target attacks, it also had area of effect damage. Among the elite zombies in the area earlier, the iron zombies and copper zombies couldn't withstand it, and turned to ashes. While the gold zombies and silver zombies fared better, they still had various parts of their bodies melted. This was what a true mage was like, with extremely high damage output. Long HaoChen was relatively unscathed. Being the leader of the team, he didn't let his excitement show too much. However, HaoYue couldn't help but burst into laughter and said, "Brother Medicinal Pills, you've finally unleashed your power. It's really bringing tears to my eyes." Lin Xin glared at him with a look of disdain, thinking to himself, "Tears to your eyes, really? Why are you laughing so happily?" However, he couldn't say a word about the backlash from the Spirit Furnace, so he could only retaliate with his eyes. Roar! Suddenly, a piercing and furious roar resounded, causing the zombies charging towards the mountainside, who were already resigned to death, to suddenly halt their steps. And they stopped their leaping towards the mountainside. The one who had unleashed this furious roar was none other than the heavily wounded Zombie King. It seemed to be provoked, and it had also sensed the fear of a mortal threat, but most importantly, its target was not these humans. If it couldn't destroy HaoYue, who was in the midst of evolving, it would undoubtedly face the wrath of the Council of Undead Lords. It could already vaguely sense that HaoYue's evolution was nearing completion. The Zombie King didn't charge up the mountainside again, but instead, it abruptly turned around, and with another roar, it spewed out a thick, dark green mist towards its fellow zombies. Suddenly, regardless of the type of zombies, they will immediately melt within the mist as if ice and snow upon contact. Somewhat intelligent elite zombies, upon seeing the Zombie King exhale this mist, scattered in terror. However, regular zombies, lacking any intelligence, can only turn into corpse water within that mist. This corpse water, like a small stream, flows towards the Zombie King. As the number of infected zombies increases, the dense, ink green fog expands and its coverage steadily grows. The corpse water flowing beneath the Zombie King's feet immediately assimilates into its body, rapidly repairing its injuries at an almost frenzied pace. What's even more terrifying is that its body rapidly grows as these corpse waters merge with it. While Yuan and HaoYue may not possess Long HaoChen's level of perception, they can still see the dense ink green mist and the Zombie King's growing size amidst its roaring. Both of them, without prior arrangement, look towards Long HaoChen with questioning expressions. Long HaoChen turns his head to glance at the depths of the cave. HaoYue's breathing appears to have grown heavier, evidently indicating a critical moment. On the other side, the Zombie King, at the cost of merging with its zombie subordinates, rapidly increases its own power. Even though there's a clash of attributes, once it raises its power beyond the 9th rank, Long HaoChen and the others may find it challenging to withstand its attacks. Moreover, Lin Xin's Phoenix of Flames can no longer be used a second time. They absolutely cannot allow it to complete its power surge, especially at this critical moment, where even a slight hesitation could result in the annihilation of the entire army here. In a flash of golden light, another figure appears by his side. It's none other than Cai Er, who has been patiently waiting in the Tower of Eternity for a long time. Earlier, Long HaoChen didn't summon Cai Er because he needed defensive assistance rather than offensive. But now, it's clear that the need for a powerful attack has arrived. Cai Er, follow me, stop the zombie king from accumulating power. HaoYue, Yuan, you two guard the cave entrance. Long HaoChen says this as he moves to the side, and without further delay, he charges forward. His four wings beat with full force from his back, heading straight for the zombie king. Brilliant golden light surges to its peak in an instant, akin to a golden sun that arrives before the zombie king in an instant. Simultaneously, as Long HaoChen charges forward, there's a flash of golden light around Yating, and she disappears as if into thin air, only to reappear behind Long HaoChen. The brilliant holy shield has already been retracted into eternal melody by Long HaoChen when he took off. And at this moment, he wields light punishment in both hands, infusing it with his inner spiritual power. The sword's skill accompanying light punishment instantly reaches its pinnacle, radiating intense white incandescence and a deadly aura. What's even more astonishing is that Long HaoChen himself also displays the same white incandescence as the holy sword. Even his four wings are the same. Wherever the intense white light touches, the thick ink green mist in the air is rapidly purified. The zombie king clearly senses a deadly threat, and in its roar, its greatly strengthened arms swing down towards Long HaoChen. In the process of absorbing the corpse water, its body becomes increasingly massive. And its terrifying strength even generates a series of sonic booms with each swing. Long HaoChen doesn't confront it head-on, but instead, he uses the Nine Dragons strike, his figure flashing to the side, simultaneously dodging and raising light punishment with both hands over his head. Yating's figure shimmers, transforming into a golden stream of light that lands on light punishment. Instantly, the white incandescence of light punishment is enveloped in a layer of dark golden flames. However, light punishment emits a deep, resonating hum, as if it's wailing. Despite being a radiant-grade weapon, it seems to struggle under the weight of these dark golden flames. The attack misses its mark, and the zombie king immediately turns around, only to face the heavy sword that's swinging down towards it. As this sword strikes down, Long HaoChen's entire figure appears to warp slightly, and from where Yuan and HaoYue are perched on the mountainside, it feels as if a glimmer of light has pierced through this dark world. The intense aura of light seems to purify the entire space. With a resounding impact, light punishment strikes the zombie king's raised arms, and amidst the intense roar, a horrifying scene unfolds. Light punishment, a top-tier quality weapon, and equipped with holy sword and soul-sucking abilities, shatters into pieces, and Long HaoChen is sent flying backward by the zombie king's terrifying power. However, the zombie king isn't faring any better. And after the intense collision, a grating, plop-plop, sound follows, as if hot oil has been poured onto ice. It's clear to see that the zombie king's arms, once as sturdy as steel, are actually melting under the onslaught of the dark golden flames. The intense dark golden flames almost instantly engulf its entire body. The green mist in the vicinity is tainted by this flame, and it almost instantly vanishes, no longer able to engulf the distant ordinary zombies. What's even more terrifying is that this dark golden flame can actually self-amplify, rapidly spreading all over the zombie king's body. Roar! A piercing cry erupts from the zombie king's mouth, as it frenziedly tries to extinguish the dark golden flames on its body, even spewing green liquid onto itself. But no matter what it does, it only intensifies the burning of the dark golden flames. Long HaoChen's previous strike seemed to have been a disadvantage, but he managed to leave a trace of the dark golden flames on the zombie king's forehead. Even if it wanted to make a desperate move, it couldn't. Long HaoChen fell in the distance, blood spraying from his mouth. His arms hanging limp at his sides, clearly dislocated. Blood flowed from his mouth. He looked very miserable. However, surprisingly, not a single zombie dared to attack him. After Yating shattered with light punishment, she reappeared in her true form, floating beside Long HaoChen. Her face was also very pale, indicating the immense exhaustion from the previous strike. After becoming a Retribution Knight, Long HaoChen gained some special abilities exclusive to Retribution Knights, all related to the goddess of light. His ability to turn his body into white incandescence was called Soul Ignition. It burned his spiritual energy and soul to provide the maximum boost to himself. Its power was even stronger than his original sacrifice ability. However, the side effects of Soul Ignition were significant. After using it once, Long HaoChen would be weak for at least 7 days. If overused, it could even lead to a significant decline in his own strength, endangering his life. The dark golden flames were actually Yating's evolutionary ability. After obtaining her true form, she didn't change her energy form's characteristics. She could temporarily become a weapon spirit for any of Long HaoChen's weapons, igniting their most fundamental power for an attack. In simple terms, using this ability once essentially destroyed the weapon, unless its quality truly reached the level to accommodate a spirit like Yating. Long HaoChen knew deep down that it was utterly impossible for him to defeat the Zombie King with his current cultivation. What the Zombie King feared most was his attribute, not his combat power. Thus, he relied on soul ignition and Yating's assistance to elevate his light attribute to its utmost limit. Even if the true goddess of light were here, the light elements she controlled wouldn't be purer than the strike Long HaoChen just delivered. The Zombie King was indeed powerful, but in the face of this absolute attribute suppression, it suffered irreparable damage. It wasn't damage to its body, but to its soul. In the void, a pitch-black figure quietly appeared above the Zombie King's head. Then, a surge of overwhelming killing intent mixed with a gray light flashed and disappeared in an instant. In the next moment, that black figure inexplicably split into two. One remained suspended in the air, gradually dissolving, while the other descended like lightning next to Long HaoChen, rapidly pushing his arms and resetting them. "How can you use the Reincarnation Spirit Furnace?" Long HaoChen exclaimed urgently. The Zombie King had already fallen into a state of stupefaction there, no longer roaring and struggling. It then slowly collapsed to the ground, its dark golden flames losing their resistance, rapidly spreading across its entire body. The Zombie King was indeed the undead monarch. Even with its soul's flame extinguished, its body didn't immediately turn to ashes, but continued to burn. The zombies in the distance lost their king, and felt the terrifying light that they feared. They lost their will to fight, scattering and fleeing. Cai Er helped Long HaoChen to his feet, giving a faint smile and saying, "Don't worry, I'm fine." Long HaoChen looked at her carefully and said, "Which sense have you lost this time?" Cai Er giggled and said, "I haven't lost any sense. Wait, who is she?" As she spoke, she turned to a figure who looked very cool and was floating next to Long HaoChen. Asking, to Long HaoChen's surprise, Yating approached very obediently. "Master, I'm Yating, the light elemental elf of the owner. After the owner synthesized the spirit furnace, my energy body materialized into what it is now." Cai Er exclaimed in surprise, "You're Yating?" She looked at Yating, then at Long HaoChen, and her expression turned somewhat unpleasant. Long HaoChen had long anticipated that this situation might occur, but he hadn't expected it to happen so quickly. He quickly changed the topic and said, "So, is the Zombie King dead?" Cai Er nodded and replied, "My Reincarnation Spirit Furnace is particularly effective at dealing with undead souls. It inflicts strong damage on undead creatures. Moreover, it received the purification of your holy flames, and the soul was already severely damaged." After being summoned by Long HaoChen, Cai Er immediately entered stealth mode and followed him, waiting for the right moment by his side. When she saw Long HaoChen's body enveloped in a blazing white light, she understood that he had a way to deal with the Zombie King. That's why she didn't act immediately. When the Zombie King was severely injured by Long HaoChen's holy flames, Cai Er activated the Reincarnation Spirit Furnace and combined it with the Reincarnation Sword to deliver a fatal blow to the Zombie King, completely extinguishing its soul's flames. No matter how strong its physical body was, without its soul, the Zombie King would turn into a lifeless corpse. With the threat of the Zombie King eliminated, the two of them returned to the halfway point of the mountain cave, where HaoYue treated Long HaoChen's injuries. However, the weakness caused by the flame of life couldn't be cured. They would have to wait for 7 days. It was only at this moment that Long HaoChen had the opportunity to tell everyone what had happened. "I never imagined that HaoYue was born in such a space." HaoYue sighed and said, "In a world filled with toxic gases and undead creatures like this, it's impossible to have any good feelings." Cai Er raised an eyebrow and said, "HaoChen, if more undead creatures attack, what will we do if we can't resist them?"